podcast. I'm Avonte,
I'm John-Michael.
and just to start off, before we get started on this second episode, we gotta acknowledge the comments that we've been getting. I see y'all have been mad about that Steph Curry one, specifically that one about how he might not be a killer. He doesn't have that killer instinct, and I'm gonna stand by it. I'm gonna stand by it. I'm gonna double down actually, but I gotta say it didn't age well because after the Sacramento series, it was like, all right, he might have a little bit of a killer instinct in him, but I don't know, man. It's interesting, but we're gonna see. He's down 3-1. We're gonna see.
And I don't know. I was on the fence about the Steph Curry. I think he just turns it on when he wants to, and then he turned it on against Sacramento because Game 7, he put up the most points. So he got me. I've always been a Steph Curry fan. That I feel like they settle for jump shots. I feel like yes, they settle for jump shots. But when he's attacking the rim and being super aggressive, he is one of the best players ever.
Agreed. And I guess I get the strategy. It's to spread the floor because the further you shoot, the more you can open up. And then if you have Draymond running point, he cuts in. Then there's nothing you can do to stop the flow. But they showed this video of Bron reacting to a out of bounds play the Warriors had in like the last game, and like he's pointing to different directions of where they go, and they meet Klay Thompson in the corner before he has a chance to shoot and they get the turnover. I'm just like, how do you get to that level? Because that's just like a different level of understanding what they're trying to do before they do it. That's crazy. But I
Good point.
guess
Was crazy, but I'm not gonna lie. That is a play they run very so. They ran that a lot of times. They ran it against the Kings series, and they ran it
yeah,
against the Cavs a lot.
yeah,
So it's like the down screen pin from Wiggins that they do a lot.
right.
You gotta react. That's really what it is. It's not to make LeBron mess up. It's to make the next person, the bigger, slower big, mess up in the situation. Have to switch to a fast shooter. And in that situation, he read it right, got the switch, and then Draymond with the turnover. The smallest Dennis Schroeder, he could have probably done something different, but hey.
Right. Right. And that's what I was thinking too. And just the fact that it was Dennis Schroeder, and then you also get the actual turnover. Who got the turnover? Was it AD?
I think AD got the steal, Schroeder forced the turnover, and
Yeah.
then Draymond got the turnover.
Yeah, that's crazy. But it makes sense though, because you see Klay Thompson in the corner, you go out as a big man to try to rush it. You either in the air and it's too late, or you don't come out far enough, and I hate you for the three.
Yeah, the big man's initial reaction is to drop down to the paint, and then that's why LeBron
They
called for the switch because you're gonna try to do that. Meanwhile, he stays. But
Sheesh. All right, so I guess that leads into the next part then. So let's go ahead since we're in the conference semifinals. I gotta know your predictions. We're already talking about the Lakers and the Warriors. Who do you have winning? How many games do you have them winning in? Where do they win it? And then who's the key players that help deliver that winning series?
okay, so I think honestly, I'm gonna follow the dog's prediction on Twitter. I know you guys seen the
I was gonna ask you
viral.
about that.
I'm thinking Warriors in 7. If they can survive the Lakers at home, I think they bring it back and they can close out the series. But I have a question for everybody. Like, do you think whoever wins or loses this series, does it affect their legacy to go out against such a great, or does it just they already have solidified their resume that it's not too big on their the expectations we have? We do have expectations, like you should be going to at least the conference final, especially for the defending champs, especially for LeBron. There's a lot at stake. They switch out the whole team for it. So I don't know. It's a question for everybody. Like, what do you think? I'll leave the comments below. So I have Warriors in 7. I think the Nuggets, even though I don't think they're a very good playoff team, I think the Nuggets, I might get some feedback off of that one, but I think the
Well,
Nuggets win, especially because Chris Paul's not there. I'm a Celtics fan, so I need the Celtics they don't really lose back to back. So I'd say they take out Philly. It's just a slow pace that's killing them. I say we take them out in 7 games.
have you heard
And the
who's
Heat
who's
close us
out
out at home.
before you do the Denver one? Have you heard who's out for tonight's game?
Who's out?
So Jamal Murray's out, DeAndre Ayton's out, and one more person is out. But essentially, Jokic has sort of a free reign. It's, So I'll let you have that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll let you chew on that.
I think
But
the Suns still. I think Phoenix wins tonight for sure. I think Phoenix
okay,
wins in my opinion. Do I think they win the series? Uh, it just takes a crazy game for Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. They can do it, but it's about like when they're at home, the Nuggets just play good. It's the X factors like Michael Porter Jr. I think that's where the game goes because even though Jamal Murray chips in, Jokic is gonna give you what he's gonna give you. But personally, what I don't want like watching Nuggets for is it's a balanced offense. Like I don't really want to watch like the supporting cast score all the time. Like Bruce Brown's a good player, but he had 25 last game over Jamal Murray. Like I want to see some exciting points. I don't want to see a bunch of cuts and back doors and like
that's
yeah,
what
the
makes
right
the
play is good,
game.
but sometimes I want to see superstar against superstar, like a marquee matchup. Like I want to see Kevin Durant score the ball. I want to see Devin Booker. I don't want to see like
But they don't give us that
25.
anymore. They give us like you have a star player guarded by a role player whose main role is defense. And I mean, it's like
Yeah,
I guess you get to see who's really good as far as defense versus offense. But at the same time, it you don't get that. Like honestly, if Jimmy Butler makes it to the finals, we're probably gonna get Jimmy Butler guarding Bron the entire time because I can't see him saying I want to guard anybody else. I can't see him not wanting to guard him. He's just that competitive. But they don't really give us that star player matchup
we
anymore.
don't. Yeah, we don't get it anymore. So it's just like if we're not gonna get the star player matchup, that's why I want to see star players score because you're not going. That's a weaker defender. I want to see that guy like pour it into buckets. So
Okay.
I don't know. It's kind of hard with Chris Paul out there. I still think so. I think Suns win tonight,
Okay.
but I think they lose to the Nuggets. I think the supporting cast steps up and helps Jokic. And I just like I said, like it just takes a big first quarter from somebody that just kind of gives them that lead, that cushion, like they did last game,
Hmm.
and that's what really draws the line. I don't think the Suns have enough firepower. They lost a lot by giving up like Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson. Like you lost people who would have given you that X factor. And now
Right.
you're like your life is in the hands of like Devin Booker misses, Kevin Ray misses. Now Cameron Payne has to save you. Like it's DNA. No disrespect to anything.
Go- Oh my God. Damn. Okay.
I'm just swinging it back to you, so I don't take too much.
I mean, campaign, he'll give you a little bit every now and then. I mean, but I mean, they did. They gave up so much. And I mean, we said it
Did.
last time we talked. Mikal Bridges, he gave you so much more than just what you expected as far as defense. I mean, he guarded dudes on an island every single night. But not only that, he could give you buckets as well, which we didn't know. But apparently he could do that. But
Super
not,
efficient player too.
right. But not only that, they gave up Cam Johnson, and I don't know if you've seen it, but DeAndre Ayton looks like he's ready to go. Like, dog does not want to be in Phoenix like at all. Like, I don't want to touch none of the players. I don't want to dap him up. I don't want to. I don't like. He don't even want to be there. So, I definitely see Denver winning the series too. I don't see them winning it in Phoenix either, just because the Phoenix is at home. But I feel like you were saying, supporting cast is really going to come together at a home game. So I could definitely see them doing it in seven at Denver. Uh, yeah, that's the way I'd go about that one. So seven there. In response to so I want to actually respond to your legacy question in response to the Lakers and the Warriors. I think if the Warriors do come back and they win it in seven, it does enhance their legacy because Bron's title in Cleveland was based off him coming back 3-1. Well, obviously him landing a title for Cleveland, him being hometown hero, so many other factors. But more importantly, he came down from an impossible situation and beat it from 3-1. And now the Warriors find themselves in the exact same situation against the player they did that to. It's very, very much of a story of redemption. But I'm just wondering whether it actually be done. So I think if they do, it enhances their story as the dynasty that they are. And if they don't, it enhances the Lakers or LeBron's legacy as one of the greatest players of all time and beating one of the best players of all time in Stephen Curry and that dynasty of who they are. Um, as far as actually winning, because I saw that Air Corgi video too. This series has so many ups and downs. So the game six is in LA and Anthony Davis just had himself a bad game and he does the up down up down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going game six. I give it to the Lakers. They'll be at home. I give it to the Lakers. And that's not to say that the Warriors aren't going to give them help, but it's more so to say that the Lakers just did that. They just did that in LA. So if they can do the same thing again, I think they can do it. If they go back to Golden State, oh, they're not winning. You're not beating Golden State in a game 7 in Golden State. You might as well just not go. They're gonna beat you and they're gonna be loud. That's the worst part. So I say Lakers have to do it in 6. If they don't do it in 6, Warriors have it in 7. And their legacy is definitely improved. But as far as key players, it's got to be Wiggins and Clay. It's got to be Wiggins and Clay. But, just depends. All right, so let me throw this one at you because,
Now, wait. Last
okay,
two.
okay.
Celtics, 76ers, and
Yep.
Heat and Knicks. What do you think?
All right. I got the Heat over the Knicks. I honestly was shocked the Knicks made it this far. Cleveland's inexperience really showed in that previous series. And then they ran up against the Heat, who I personally felt like the Knicks started off the series kind of like they were still playing the Cavs. And so when they approached the Heat hit them in the mouth. I mean, they just played the Bucks and they just put the Bucks, the like favorite out of the East, out. They're on a mission. And apparently their bench is deep as hell. I don't understand where they get the scouting report that they did as far as like recruiting and whatnot, but they have one of the deepest benches that is almost unexpected, but can give you points at no matter if Jimmy Butler is in or not, or Bam Adebayo or Kyle Lowry or whatever. I mean, Vincent, Duncan Robinson, he shot the lights out and almost put him back over the Knicks in Madison Square Garden the other night. So going back to Miami, I say Miami takes it. And in Boston, this one I've had nightmares about because in my mind, I know Boston should win it. But watching the series, I don't think they have it in them to beat Philly now that they have it going back to Philly and they got the we got to go. If James Harden, I'm going to say Boston in 7. Boston in 7.
See, it sounds like you just had some PTSD. You had it like in a eureka moment. But you said James Harden.
That's what
That's
happened.
Stopped you. We've seen this before.
Yes.
He has a lead. He's doing his thing. But then if he does not show up, it's a very different ballgame, right?
Yeah. And that's I guess what I'm expecting, and that's what I'm afraid of is James gonna be James, but he has Tyrese Maxey to offset him, so that's the other part. That's the scary part. Tyrese can kind of do it all. But then you got PJ Tucker in there, who, straight up is just being physical. He's just out physicality everyone else. So he just seems to want it more. I don't know. How about you? What are your? Did you give your picks on that already?
Yeah, I get my picks.
Okay, I missed it. Okay. Oh man, that's gonna be tough. So we'll see. That's tonight too. All right. So you actually, I want to segue into something because you said something earlier today when we talked, and I've been thinking about it since you said it. You said De'Aaron Fox is better than Ja Morant.
Yes, I stand by it 100%.
I gotta know. All right, so I need you to elaborate because I gotta know.
I know everybody's gonna. Don't get me wrong. I love Ja Morant, great player and everything. Feisty, off the court, he's lit. We can relate to him. Might be a little bit too crazy sometimes, but he does his thing. But I think, just like the all NBA team said, De'Aaron Fox is better than Ja Morant because we've seen what he did with. They both went up against the Warriors. De'Aaron Fox almost got it done. Almost doesn't cut it, but pushed it to 7. But he was hooping in those games that he was doing. Ja Morant, not to say Ja Morant wasn't. The Warriors, they let somebody go off. That's their whole game plan. They don't let one person predominantly dominate the game. But if you've seen the impact that De'Aaron Fox was having against those people, they were actually struggling at one time to stop De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, especially the guards. They were struggling to hold those guys.
And Malik Monk was a 6-man. That was crazy.
This is with De'Aaron Fox having a broken finger in the series. Let's not forget. But Ja Morant, remove him off the team, just like last year. They still scrapped the game from the Warriors without Ja Morant. This year, they scrap a game against the Lakers without having Ja Morant. So I think De'Aaron Fox's performance, like his value to his team, on top of his clutch time performance, he led the NBA in fourth quarter points. De'Aaron Fox is the guy I'm going with. Shot selection is great. He kind of does it super fast. He's an extremely underrated player, I would say. What do
Since
you
you
think?
said it, no, since you said it, I've been thinking about it, and it's obvious. Because to be honest and to be fair, even on the last episode, I said they were my dark horse, the Kings. They were my dark horse because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Darren Fox fan. I mean, he plays defense and he's good at it. I mean, steals, not an issue. He's tall for a point guard, so rebounds are not an issue. He can score, and then he's a southpaw. So you're not expecting him to go left, which means he's got a power as well. Um, but on top of that, he also has a step back and a 3-point shot that you can't necessarily time, but also if you leave him open, he'll hit you with it. I don't think Ja has that in his repertoire, or is he's more likely, I think, to hit you from driving and dunking on you. Uh,
Yes.
that's not to say that Ja can't shoot the three, but it's more so to say that if I have De'Aaron Fox and I have Ja Morant lined up, I'm taking De'Aaron Fox as far as who's hitting that three, and as far as more consistently, De'Aaron Fox as well. So I have to agree with you because, I mean, facts. I mean, let's look at the series. I mean, we had the Grizzlies go at the Warriors, and then we had the Kings go at the Warriors. And I personally felt like the Kings were a young Warriors. They have a very talented point guard. They have a shooting guard who can do exactly what they need to, as far as shooting or driving. And then they have a big man who can also, you dump it to him and he can give you buckets or make the assist and the extra bucket, and Sabonis. And so the other aspect of it was that they can give you 125, not just off shooting. So they can give you 125 straight. That to me was like the Warriors are playing the younger version of themselves in this series. And I was shocked to see how it turned out because I thought the Kings were going to get them. But since you said that, I was like, yeah, I can kind of see it. De'Aaron Fox is, I can see him being better than Ja for sure.
Yeah, I say personally, I think playoffs pushed it for me. I think it's also like underrated market. He's in the
Right.
like there's not as much there wasn't the same hype. If Darren Fox had the same hype coming into the NBA as John Morant, it would be a whole different story. Like
Right.
we
I mean,
weren't talking about Darren Fox #1 pick or #2 pick. That wasn't a thing. It was whoever else was in the draft class. I think I forget who was that.
I put it this way: if Harrison Barnes hits that three in what was it, Game 6 in Golden State, we might be talking about the Kings in
Yeah,
another light.
it's a whole different ballgame. And it took Curry scoring the most points ever in Game 7 for them to do
Right.
it. Like it
For them
was
to win.
that's a masterclass performance. That's you going up against a great, and then you just couldn't stop somebody. But
Yeah.
like that's just you going up against one of the best players of your generation. Of course, he's gonna live up to the hype and live up to the moment, or he just shrinks that, and he lived it up to expectations.
Yep.
But that was the first time the Warriors ever faced like real fear, especially first round. They never faced
Mm,
something like that put their backs up against the wall. And
right.
now with a second series, it's like, can you pull that out again? I don't know, but
And then
there's
you
a
run up
lot on the
against
line now.
who?
Now it's revenge. It's
Yep.
LeBron you have history with. They say you can't win it against KD. So I just expect big plays from big players. And hopefully Klay Thompson bounce back game, but his shot selection has been poor. Klay Thompson, I'm so sorry. I don't know. Those shot selections have been like that's the thing when you take a long three, and you give up a fast break too. Like you're just giving teams quick transition. The shot selection, I just be praying that I hope you put the ball on the floor and actually like everybody knows a jump shot's coming. I
Right.
would just hope you go for a layup or something just to throw him off. At least put him
No.
on his back. But
You don't get
you know,
60 points off 14 dribbles by doing anything other than just launching it.
but man, if you saw what was it, Game 5, that one that they lost, and then he just put up like two rapid threes in the
Yep.
last minute and a half or last 2 minutes when I think they had the advantage.
Yeah.
Just like if he makes those, it's a great shot. But if he misses those very quick on the shot clock, it's not good because you could have got a better look potentially. But because you're Klay Thompson, you're gonna put it up, which respectfully, yeah, you're one of the best
Yeah.
shooters. But it's at the drawback of your team having to take a hit from that.
Right. Right. Which I mean, I think that's their motto though. Live and die by the three. I mean,
Literally. And you guys are
literally. I
dying by the
mean,
three.
that's it. It's
And
you
you guys are
either,
dying by it.
and that's what it is. And so I mean, they're gonna keep letting them do it, and I expect it. But I mean,
Shout out
like it
Andrew
is.
Wiggins though. Holding down the fort X Factor last game.
If he didn't come back, I think the Kings would have got the Warriors
Oh,
because
100%.
they wouldn't have won in Sacramento. They
Yeah,
wouldn't have.
The Warriors needed a small forward. That was always been their thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
even when they had Harrison Barnes, they needed a small forward that can give them that play a defensive threat, but then
Yeah,
also give them offense. Like you need think in this modern NBA, no matter the guards are always gonna be great. The guys are always gonna be. You always need that one person that can just do a little bit of everything,
Yep.
everywhere on the defense, but also on the offense. Because your big can only guard pretty much just your big. Your guard can only guard pretty much just your guard. Other
Yep.
than like Giannis and the exceptions, they're only gonna be able to move so far in Anthony Davis. But everybody else is kind of stationary where it is.
So I
And
mean,
it's
that's like, praising small ball because you kind of need that like PJ Tucker, that Draymond Green.
you need those people.
Yeah, they're a little undersized, but I mean,
They're
what do you
gritty.
then have in this series against the Lakers where being undersized is going to cost you because now you're giving up rebounds unless you have a Kevon Looney who's able to come in and match up against AD.
Yeah, that's
But
why they're dying by Anthony Davis because his size advantage. They're not going to play small ball against him. They know that Anthony Davis is going to kill them, and then they have a player like LeBron that can float around. And if he's on the switch, you don't want to go 1-on-1 with LeBron. You don't want your chances every play going 1-on-1. Come on.
yep,
So
yeah,
you're gonna try to look for like a smaller like defender, like a Dennis Schroeder or like a D'Angelo Russell. But even then, you're like everybody's watching you. Anthony Davis is hovering. He's looking. He's a very high defensive IQ. He's looking to help help defense. So they're kind of just putting you like in a zone. But
yeah.
what do we want to transition to? I think there was one more thing we wanted to cover, maybe.
Oh yeah. So got Julius Randle of the Knicks.
You
He
don't want it.
said
Let's go.
that
Next.
that's what it was. I mean, I don't know what sort of mindset you go into the playoffs with where you say, I guess they just wanted more. I mean, if
Play
you're
the
at that
clip
point,
right here. Play the clip right
oh
here,
my
actually.
gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna try and find it and put it up there. Because it's just like you're in the playoffs, dude. Come on. You're right here. And you're at a place where the Knicks haven't been in years, decades even. And you don't want it. Good to know. Good to know. Contracts are coming up. Summer is upon us. Good to know. Good to
Yeah,
know.
just it's one of those things like you have the talent, but it's also like how bad you're not being a leader. Like you just say like you didn't want it. That was a my career answer. I could have said that in 2K. Like that's what I say when I want to get traded. This is you. This is your career, and this is what you're actually saying in front of the press.
I
Like you
mean,
can't go back to the locker room and expect your team to be fired. I'll be yeah. Let's go fight for Julius Randle. No, he said I don't want it. Yeah, you're right. I want to Cancun on 4, buddy, or
oh
I guess
man,
6. But
on three. I was gonna say on three. Sheesh, man, that's even worse. But I mean, I guess I get it because everyone heard how Steph came prepared for Game 7 in Sacramento, and like he didn't say anything. He was
you
like,
see, that's the
"Oh,
difference.
right." I was like, "All right." So maybe
Difference
not
from the
saying
leader.
anything is the difference between saying what you actually feel. But
Different from Steph Curry. Steph Curry said, "Don't get on the bus if you're not ready to come play," and that's real stuff that you want to hear from a real leader.
yep. So I
Julius
mean, I
Randle
might
goes,
have to rethink that killer instinct line then. That's a killer thing to say.
that's what I'm saying. That was a killer thing. I think it's because he's so silent. I think that's why we kind of underestimate him. He's so silent, but he's dangerous. We're just a
Yep.
babyface assassin. He's just so silent that you kind of forget because he's not out there trash talking in your face. He's looking to kill. He is. He looks super aggressive. He doesn't care. He's
He
been
is
putting up
lately.
35 shots. He doesn't give a damn. Who else
Yeah.
is not helping him?
I'm not gonna lie, like
And
lately
hooping.
he is. It's been scary hours lately,
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
he's playoff stuff.
Sheesh. Okay. Well, damn. All right. Well, largely that's what I had on the agenda today, other than we look at some sports betting picks and then look to see, what some of those options are. Um, but other than that, it's really just picking out these winners for who's going to win these semifinals. Because right now, I couldn't tell you like who's going to be in the finals. Like if I had to predict a finals matchup, I honestly think we're going to see a bubble rematch where we get
Really?
the Heat and the Lakers. I
I
think
pray to
so.
God I don't see that one.
I think the Lakers do it tonight. I think the Lakers do it in 6, and then they play the Nuggets. And I think the Nuggets, same thing happens with them every year. They do well. They have, well, no, Jokic didn't win the MVP this year, so there's no MVP curse for him. So never
Nope.
mind.
I don't know, man. I don't want to see bubble ball. I didn't like that Mickey Mouse ring. Come on,
Oh,
man.
okay.
Mickey Mouse ring. Everybody, their mama was sick at one point. Like everybody's in and out the lineups. You're trying. Teams were trying was using the
Yeah,
most rotations. You were signing G leaguers to the most money they've ever had because you didn't have enough players to just be there. That's
yeah.
Mickey Mouse ring. The
Hey,
Mickey Mouse.
hey, get it how you live. I ain't gonna tell them they're wrong. I'm just gonna say, hey, it's like AAU. Everybody just shows up and then
Yeah. Man, you could have put on a different jersey. I feel like there was players playing for two teams at one point. Like, how? You
It
signing
was
a two-way contract and was moving them back and forth.
it was definitely Westbrook then that was playing for two teams. I feel like I saw him at least on two different teams.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him like barking at somebody, like talking all this mess, and I was like, "Y'all down like 30 against the Lakers. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it don't matter, but it is what it is."
Oh, I could transition. I should speak about Westbrook. I don't want to no Westbrook slander here, but if you are the Clippers owner, what do you do? Their contracts are both up. You haven't had a chance since they've been here in the past 3 years to make something of it. Do you resign them? Do you trade them? What do you do? Because you couldn't add technically you couldn't see the potential of them, but that's also to reckon like they don't those players maybe they don't like playing games. I don't know. It's like the load management, it gets really tricky with them and they can't ever be healthy at the same time to show we see glimpses of it, but we don't get this. Almost like what happened in the Nets situation. We don't get to see everybody on the court, so we can't really judge. That team is
Right.
very deep, and they did pretty good for a first round against the Suns that had full firepower pretty much. But what do you do? Do you re-sign these two stars? Do you let one go?
I it's
If
oof.
you're the owner, if you're the
No,
owner and
no,
GM, are
no.
you signing them?
I re-sign, and here's another hot take. I re-sign Westbrook because Westbrook showed up in the playoffs and he showed up against the Phoenix Suns. Arguably one of the, I don't even want to call them the dark horses. They were one of the favorites to win the championships this year.
Mm-hmm.
With that, Westbrook came and he showed how to break down Kevin Durant. He showed us if you're going to play Kevin Durant, this is how you play Kevin Durant. This is how you play defense on him. And he exposed how to play that. They ended up losing because they didn't have enough firepower to compete with the Phoenix Suns. But he exposed that. But then you also have Devin Booker giving you 30 points, 25 points, 32 points. You can't really
He's
do
been
anything.
hooping. He's been
He's just been
averaging
giving you
36
buckets.
points.
Like he's just giving you buckets. So you can't really do anything about that. But Westbrook showed up, and I think he made the series much more competitive and took it a little bit further
Mm-hmm.
than it would have gone. But to be honest, Kawhi was the reason they won those games that they didn't run, that
For
they didn't
sure.
win. So I would say no, I try to get rid of them personally because you can't depend on them to be there. You just like these last 3 years have shown, you want, you hope, you pray, you get them healthy, you get them going, you get them active, and they still miss 40, 50 games, get to the playoffs, and then they get hurt right before the playoffs or in the playoffs, and then they're
Mm-hmm.
out. And then you got to kind of put together something. So I re-signed Westbrook. Keep the pieces that you have there at a core, understanding that what Westbrook needs is really to get rebounds and then push. And then if you could find a way to package up those two and get, I don't even know what you get for them because there's nothing like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. If you can keep one, I would say keep one, but they are definitely tough to have around if they're going to be injured all the time. How about you? What would you do?
Very good point. I don't know. I think I'm holding on to them.
Hmm.
I guess I'm just gonna kind of fight it through because just seeing the glimpse of Kawhi when he's there, he was playing like Kawhi on the Raptors. He was on a mission. Like I'm hunting. I want this bad, but it's just not playing enough games. Like you're susceptible to injuries. They're not really fully. They never fully recover from their injuries. That's what's really
Right,
bad. But it's like yeah, I could try to trade them, but what value would I really get from them?
right.
And then it's like if I rebuild, who do I rebuild it? And if I'm in the West, am I really gonna rebuild and have a chance against the Suns, the now even potential Kings, the Lakers, the Grizzlies, all of that's like a very tough conference. Like, am I actually gonna go somewhere with it?
Hmm.
Probably not if you get rid of those two players. They're your best bet, unless you flip it and get like Jalen Brown and somebody else, or you would have to replace those players with a same type of player just like that. It's the only way.
Interesting. You bring up Jalen Brown. He's being mentioned in trade rumors by like Colin Coward, and so apparently the trade rumor is, or the trade that he proposed that he thinks would be good would be Malcolm Brogdon and Jalen Brown traded for uh, Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins.
Oh, I did see that. Malcolm Brogdon and for Jordan Poole, and that would be a very crazy trade, honestly. Because then at that point, like the Celtics have a bunch of guards. You probably don't even need those guards. Personally, though, I'm a Celtics fan. I love Jaylen Brown, a hometown hero. He's been doing great for the community too. I'm keeping Jaylen Brown. I've always said this. I thought Jaylen Brown is more consistent than Tatum.
Hmm.
Jaylen Brown, I always know what I'm gonna get. He fights hard, he plays hard. They both play hard. I think he's just more consistent. Tatum's shot selection has always been iffy,
Hmm.
and that's what kind of like hurts him. He will settle. When he sees that his jump shot's not falling, eventually he starts driving more and being more aggressive. He's always aggressive, but I think he has to go sometimes 0 for 5 or 0 for 6 to really be like, oh, okay, now I gotta go to the hoop. And
Hmm.
that's where I think like it's about what makes a really great player is making those great shot selections quickly and those quick adjustments on the fly because you don't want to miss your next 5 shots because now your team is now in a deficit. You gotta find a way to get it happening at the key moments. And I think that's where it's like I think that's what the difference is. I like Jalen Brown more. I think he gives it to me. I like someone that drives, that doesn't kind of settle. Uh, but two really great
Okay.
players. I think to keep both all NBA players. Don't trade them. Come on, build around them.
I mean, it's
Yeah, the
going to cost you
controversy was that they can't win
600.
together, and they flipped it around last year with Umi Doko, and now I don't know what they're doing, but they gotta figure it out tonight. I know the game is soon. I'm just like, come on, man.
I think if they win it tonight, they take the series in 7. But to keep them together is going to cost 600 million. I want to say like
I'll pay
630
it.
million. Two supermaxes at 630 million.
I'm
Hey, look,
paying
if you got it, you got it. It ain't tricking if you got it. But I mean, that's
luxury
that's
tax.
that's a lot. But I'm with
Paying.
you. I like Jaylen Brown a lot, and I think to give him up for Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins doesn't really help you out, considering that the pieces you're giving up and Brogdon, who is 6 man of the year,
Yeah,
uh,
he's hooping.
like he can give you buckets, he can give you defense, he can give you
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of everything in a two-way player. And then you also give up Jaylen Brown, who is your 1-2 punch. You give him up for Jordan
Yeah,
Poole, who is a 6 man, and Andrew Wiggins, who is the third to fourth option. I would say third
yeah.
though.
Not to say that Jordan Poole probably first option it might be extremely good, but him it might be shot selection. There's an adjustment when you're number one option. Everybody
Right,
knows your number one option. You got to play it. You play a lot differently.
right.
Wiggins, we've seen Wiggins be number one option at one point at the Timberwolves, but he doesn't have that. He
Uh,
doesn't have that aggression. He can hoop,
right,
but before it used to be like, does he want to hoop? That's what it looked like. But now it looks like he wants to hoop because they put it in his battery pack. You have Draymond. You have better leadership now, so it looks
right.
like he's here to play. I don't think it makes the Celtics better. I just think it makes the Warriors better.
That
I think
I
Malcolm
agree.
Brogdon is still. I think Malcolm Brogdon is better than Jordan Poole. I think in the last minutes and what he does, what he produces, I've always liked Michael Brogdon. 40,
I
50,
have
90.
too.
He's always been somebody. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Like him and Derek White are two very smart players
Mm.
that you could interchangeable. You could use them as weapons. You could run 3 guards, 4 guards, and you will forget that they're really guards because they play hard. They kind of run around everywhere. They're really very pesky and very good shot selection. They've been very smart players. So no,
That's
I'm
true.
not trading them. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with that too. And I was thinking the same thing. I thought the same thing. And the only winners out of this would be the Warriors. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
get that trade done, they keep their core, and then they add on another guy who can help kind of space the floor, drive, so then you can kick it out to Steph or Clay for a 3-point shot. I mean, if you're able to do that, then add Malcolm Brogdon, who can also come in off the bench, give you defense and scoring. I mean, the Warriors then continue their dynasty. So that I think it's a crazy ass trade, but I get it, understanding the salary cap. But I the Warriors are the only ones who win it. So considering that, then I mean, I think we're gonna see some stuff come out with Aiton, who wants to go somewhere. I think we're gonna see some stuff with. I think they hang on. I think they pay both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I mean, they seem to like
Yeah.
each other. They do well together. A 1-2 punch is really nice. And all you really need after that is just a big man or a point guard, but really not even really a point guard. So I like that there for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
And then
Hmm.
speak about off season. I don't know. Kyrie's the biggest agent. I think he's the one that's where does Kyrie go? I can't predict it right now. I think it's too early to
Phoenix. I
tell.
think he goes to Phoenix. I think he goes to Phoenix. KD is out there. They never really got to try the experiment, and then they get to add Booker to it, and you just trade Kyrie for DeAndre Ayton, and Ayton goes to Dallas, and you got Luka and Ayton in Dallas.
Oh, that's actually a really good one. But
So
I'm getting rid of Chris Paul too. I'm shipping Chris Paul. Shipping
they're
Chris
not gonna.
Paul. I'm shipping
He's not gonna go
Ayton.
anywhere. He's too stubborn.
You
He's not
know.
gonna let them ship him off, especially when they have the chance now to add who was I saying? Kyrie to no, actually you
Yeah.
have to because they play the same position.
Yeah, you have to because in
Oh,
the money, they're the only two people
yeah.
that get paid enough. Ayton doesn't get paid enough for it to actually work. I don't think you have to ship him.
I don't know. Well, yeah,
But
he got that 4 year 80. So
yeah,
yeah.
I don't know what we're doing with Chris Paul because he just gets injured every playoffs. I don't know what to do. Like I would just it's like
Hey,
the
I don't
Kawhi
know.
thing, but like it's no with Chris Paul it's literally a thing. And
It's
Chris Paul
tough.
he doesn't even score like the first half. He'd be chilling. He'd be assistant passing.
You
Fourth
sound like
quarter is when
Patrick
he lights
Beverly.
you up.
You sound like Patrick Beverly. He hates Chris Paul.
I love Chris Paul as a player, man. He used to be my favorite 2K9, but
Same.
now he's like he's
He's
a
a liability
floor general. He's literally doing everything he's supposed to. The mid range is definitely water. Like his shot selection usually makes whatever he takes,
when he's there.
but it's like he kind of gets everybody else in rhythm first before he starts scoring. Fourth quarter when he starts second half, like if I'm doing a parlay, I do Chris Paul under for the first half because I know
Mhm.
it's probably gonna be he's gonna chill, he's gonna fill out the game, and then he knows when to turn it on. And
Right.
that's what I'm saying. That's like a great player thing. But can you turn it on second quarter? Probably. Do you turn it on second quarter? No. I don't know. Give it a
But I
new book.
mean, I guess you don't have to if you got Durant this wing and Booker this wing, and then you got a monster down low. You can just dump it to. I
Mhm.
mean, your job's pretty easy then.
Yeah. I like the Suns personally. I just don't think Aiton doesn't reach his potential. Nah, maybe not enough plays.
I
Maybe he
think he
could.
doesn't touch the ball enough, and he's mad about it. But I mean,
Yeah, I don't
it's
know.
a team. But
Because there's
all
no
right,
way. Yeah. Well, I mean, we got less than a minute, guys.
we
So
got less
let us
than a
know what you
minute.
think about this. We want some interaction, some comments, even some hate I'll take. Go.
That's right. That's right. So, JM, good to talk to you as always. We're going to touch base again soon and shoot another episode, but really appreciate getting on here and talking.
Of course, anytime. Catch the snippets coming soon.
All right. Talk soon.
All
Peace.
right,
This
guys.
has been In the Paint.
Take care, my guy.